Good morning to the panel of educators, timekeepers, teachers, colleagues, and our respected opponent. I am Conney. Manjanain, as the first speaker of the opposition side, will first give the definition of few words in today's motion, and later will state why I strongly agree on today's motion. But before I go further, let me mention today's motion that this House believes that a law should be introduced as to punish netizens on the act of cyberbullying remarks. Now, we as today's opposition side, I strongly believe that this is not true. But before we come to our actual argumentation, let us first define some important terms in this debate. The meaning of punish is to inflict a penalty or sanction on someone as retribution for an offense, especially transgression of a legal or moral. Law is legislation to regulate behavior, which is precise definition a matter of long-standing debate. It has been variously described as the science and the art of justice. This is cited from the Wikipedia. On the other hand, netizen is a user of the internet, especially a habitual or keen one. It also known as citizen of the net or net citizen that describe a person actively involved in communities or the internet in general. The last term is cyberbullying, which is the use of electronic communication to bully a person, typically by sending messages of intimidating or threatening nature. According to cyberbullying.org, they define cyberbullying as willful and repeated harm inflicted through the use of computer, cell phones, and other electronic devices. We as today opposition have structured our case as follows. I, as the first speaker, will be talking about why we should not introduce law to punish netizens who act as cyberbullies. Our second speaker will elaborate on the fact that we should not punish someone who did not do serious crime compared to burglary, robbery, violent crime, and others. Our third speaker will do the rebuttal and sum up our points. But before I come to my own argument, let us first have a look at what the proposition. I will continue our case in a minute, but before that, there are some things about the proposition speech that need to be addressed. The first proposition speaker has told that cyberbullying should be a crime. On the contrary, cyberbullying should not be a criminal offense, ladies and gentlemen. He also stated that cyberbullies should be punished with imprisonment of either to 2 years or with fine or with both. But in fact, cyberbullying happens around the world all the time. It's hard to charge someone for it because it's difficult to find out who that person is. He was also claiming that law should be introduced to cyberbullying, but as the first speaker, I strongly believe that law should not be introduced as to punish netizens who act as cyberbullies. Let me come to my first point, consists why cyberbullying should not be regarded as crime. My first argument is that the proposition said that teenagers are like to engage in the behavior of cyberbullying. This is totally untrue. Some teenagers posted something without meaning to hurt someone. Additionally, most teenagers are likely afraid to talk back or defend themselves on real-life situations. So the internet is where they pour their heart out and will post their sadness, anger, feeling happy, and at the same time being anonymous. The first reason why we are opposing this motion is because if the government considers cyberbullying a crime, one of the things that is likely to happen is that people, especially teenagers, will be afraid to share their thoughts on the internet. Plus, they have no right to free speech. Thus, instead of settling them with criminal records for their mistake, it is way better to help them through education and civility programs. School and parents must be responsible for policing children's online activity. Opponents contend, not courts and legislatures. The vast majority of cyberbullying incidents can and should be handled informally, according to Justin Patchin, a co-director of the Cyberbullying Research Center and a professor of criminal justice at the University of Wisconsin. He added that with parents, school, and others need to work together to address the problem before it rises to the level of violation of criminal law. As a whole, parents and Schools are the utmost important entity in molding teenagers. I believe if children are raised with good deeds, soon they will copy and apply what their parents have taught them over the years. My second point explains that a law to punish netizens who cyberbullies may ruin the future of someone's life. My second argument is if the law made by government punish a student who is under 18 might ruin their chance to study or work in famous or even better place. I strongly oppose this motion. If the student caught up being one of the cyberbullies, he or she might be suspended by their teacher. There will be lower chance for them to be accepted in any school because their name is in a crime case as cyberbullies. There are many examples for this case. For instance, in fact, you can find many examples in real life. Just think of Albert M. He is a Form 5 student in 2019. On the same year, he was listed one of the cyberbullies and got suspended from school and left his dream to become civil engineer behind. All of this happened just because of sharing his thoughts on social media. And there was a similar case such as Ayman H., a pharmacy student who encounters the same problem. So in this simple example, we can clearly see the effect of punishing netizens who are involved in cyberbullies. This can be supported by Robert Treston when he said that passing new law through criminalize bullying will only lead to kids leaving school with a record instead of a diploma. It is sad but true, as we are aware teenagers tend to do crazy things to get attention. One of it is cyberbullying. Apart from that, he added that school must develop strategy to teach children about cyberbullying and its impact. Mechanism for prevention and response need to be established, and everyone in our school must be trained. So as we seen the have seen that the cyberbully should not regarded as crime, and therefore we strongly disagree that this house believes that a law should not be introduced as to punish netizens on the act of cyberbullying remarks. It is not necessary. Thank you.